Children, I am so glad to meet you all in this virtual class. Let us read a story in this session. Okay, children? The title of the story is The Lost Child. This Lost Child is written by Mulkraj Anand. Mulkraj Anand was an Indian writer in English. He got Sahitya Academy Award and Padma Bhushan also. Before we enter into the lesson, first we have seen this mind map. First, you have seen that happy child face. He is getting ready for visiting fair with his parents. What are the child's wishes they have given here? On the way to the fair, toys, flowering mustard field, dragonfly, insects and worms, flower petals, doors cooing sound. And in the fair, sweets, gulmohar garland, balloons, snake charmer, roundabout. At the end, the child crying face is here. Why? We will see in the lesson. Come to the first page. The last child. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there. But his parents don't buy them for him. Why then does he refuse when someone else offers them to him? We will see. It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lands and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. Come to the next page. Here, see. Come, child, come, called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops that lined the way. Fascinated means attracted. The boy was attracted by the toys in the shops. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. So the boys' feet obedient to their call, but his heart did not obey to their call. That means he wanted to buy at least a toy. I want the toy, he pleaded. His father looked at him red eyed, in his familiar tyrant's way. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender and giving him her finger to hold, said, Look, child, what is before you? It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. The flowering mustard field is compared to melting gold. The word like is used here. What literary device is used here? Yes, simile. Good children. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it. So the boy wanted to catch at least a dragonfly. So he followed the dragonfly. Yes. But it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air. When he had almost caught it in his hands, then his mother gave a cautionary call. Come, child, come. Come on to the footpath, because the child was in the mustard field. So, mother called, yes. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. Yes. Come, child, come. His parents called from the shade of a grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. Yes, now he was attracted by the raining petals. Yes. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. Now the boy was attracted by the dove. Yes. Come, child, come, they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow, winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard fields. Yes. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs covering to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. So he was confused by the new world. What is that world? The fair. Yes, they entered into the fair. A sweetmeat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, burfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets, decorated with leaves of silver and gold. Why the author is used an architecture of many colored sweets. An architecture of many colored sweets means the sweet meat seller arranged the sweets like that, like an architecture. The child stayed open eyed and his mouth watered for the burfi that was his favorite sweet. I want that burfi, he slowly murmured, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So, the boy understood that the parents would not buy the sweet. So, he moved on. A flower seller hawked. A garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, I want that garland. Half murmured, yes. But he knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. Next, a man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons because they say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on further. Next, a snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like the snake of swan, while with the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. Here also, which literary device is used? Yes, simile. Good. The child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded further. Yes. Then there was a roundabout in full swing. Men, women, and children carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried and dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently and then he made a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father, mother. What happened? There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there ahead of him. He turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. What happened? Yes, the boy missed the way. A full, deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in a real fear, Father, Mother, Father. Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. Panic stricken, he ran to one side first, then to the other, hither and thither, in all directions, knowing not where to go. Mother, father, he wailed. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy because the boy ran hither and thither. Having run to and fro in a range of running for a while, he stood defeated, his cries suppressed into sobs. At little distances on the green grass, he could see through his filmy eyes men and women talking. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow clothes, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people, who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. He searched his parents in the crowd. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine. Shrine means a small temple, to which people seemed to be crowding. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through people's legs, his little sob lingering. Mother, father, near the entrance to the temple, however, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. The poor child struggled to thrust a way between their feet, but knocked to and fro by their brutal movements. He might have been trampled underfoot had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice, Father, Mother! A man in the surging crowd heard his cry and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. Yeah, a stranger rescued the boy from the crowd. Yes. How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked as he steered clear of the mass. The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother, I want my father. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse? He gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into a thousand shrill sobs and he only shouted, I want my mother, I want my father. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Listen to the nice music, child, he pleaded. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted his double pitched strain, I want my mother, I want my father. The man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. Would you like a rainbow colored balloon? He persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. So the child's only answer is, I want my mother, I want my father. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put round your neck? The child turned his nose away from the basket and reiterated his sob. That means what? He continued, he resumed his sob. I want my mother, I want my father. Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. The what sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. This story is written by Mulkraj Anand. Yes, dear. The story highlights the bond of love and affection that the child shares with his parents before losing them. He had been demanding different things like sweets, balloons, flowers, etc. Once he lost them, he was picked up by a stranger. The stranger tried to console the child by offering him all those things that he had demanded from his parents, but the child did not want them anymore. He wanted his parents first. Yes, dear. Here, five more questions are given here in this. Think about it. The first question: what are the things the child sees on his way to the fair? Why does he lag behind? Second, in the fair, he wants many things. What are they? Why does he move on without waiting for an answer? Third question: when does he realize that he has lost his way? How have his anxiety and insecurity been described? Fourth one: why does the lost child lose interest in the things that he wanted earlier? What do you think happens in the end? Does the child find his parents? So, these five questions, three questions we are going to discuss. Next two questions, you have to write your own response. Come to the next page. Yes. What are the things the child sees on his way to the fair? Why does he lag behind? The child sees many things which fascinates him on his way to the fair. He saw many toy shops on roadsides. To distract him from toys, his mother shows him a flowering mustard field nearby. In the fields, the child sees dragonflies, butterflies fluttering around the flowers. Then, while walking on the footpath, he was amazed by the insects and worms. After entering the grove where his parents were resting, he saw cooing doves. As he neared the village with his parents, he saw huge crowds of people going to the fair. As the distance to the fair gets closer, he sees many shops converging to fair. A sweet meat seller selling sweets like burfi and gulab jamun, and a little further he comes across flower seller who was selling a garland of gulmohar. Walking ahead, he sees a man selling rainbow colored balloons. He also saw a snake charmer who playing a flute to snake. Finally, before getting into the tracks of his losing track of his parents, he saw a roundabout swing. The child keeps lagging on the way because the child is fascinated by all the things he sees on his way. At times he stoops to buy toys, and at other times he stops to admire the beauty of the nature, collecting flowers, catching butterflies, etc. Okay, dear. Then the second question: in the fair, he wants many things. What are they? Why does he move on without waiting for an answer? Some of the things child wants in the fair are toys and balloons, burfi from the sweet meat seller, garland of gulmohar, watching the snake charmer play flute to a snake, a ride in the roundabout. The boy moved on without waiting for an answer because he knew that his request would be refused every time. Yes. When does he realize that he has lost his way? How have his anxiety and insecurity been described? He realizes that he has lost his way when, on reaching the roundabout, he stooped to observe it moving in full swing with men and women and children enjoying themselves on it. Watching them intently, he turned to his parents to ask for permission to go on the roundabout. Yes, children, I hope you enjoyed the story. We will meet in the next virtual class. Until then, bye from your English teacher. Bye, dears.